are up. The Heroes of the Storm World Championship. This is it. On the blue side will be Team Dignitas with ADRD on Abathur, a Thorough Angel playing Kael'thas, Bakery on the legendary Karazim, Snitch on Zeratul, and Zarmony playing as Arthas. Their opponents, Cloud9, with Duck Train on Uther, Fan playing Tassadar, iDream on Sonya, K1 Pro on Falstad, and King Caffeine once again on Murd. And look, the Mount Synergy, it's consistent through every game.
Yes, exactly. It's very important.
It is. And oh, is that the new Falstad skin?
Is that the rare parrot? Is it a pirate riding a parrot?
Oh, I want that skin so bad. So attractive. Alrighty, well, Cursed Hollow, once again, they're actually body blocking those minions, flying this on the back. But look at this. Dignitas suspects they might be doing this, and they're waiting in their bush. This is a very cool play.
But I mean,
next level meta.
Tassadar has the vision. Is he going to use it in 3, 2, 1? There we go. And Howling Blast will miss. Zarmony does not catch a fish on the end of that fishing rod.
Okay, well, they do need to split up and make sure they get those soak in the lanes respectively. We see Falstad flying down, King Caffeine already in the top, so Crisis controlled. They do not miss a single minion. But Dignitas, they did miss some in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they missed 2 footmen at the bottom lane, maybe 1 at the top as well, so that's about 165-ish XP lost already. It's not all too bad, but it counts for a little bit.
Yeah, every small little bit, you know, can make a difference in the game. A lot of presence in the mid, though. Tassadar does get hit by the gravity lapse. It will have to use Dimensional Shift to get out of harm's way.
Now, that's a 20-second cooldown. That's why you can see Dignitas work so hard for trying to take down a Tassadar, which is virtually impossible. They also wanted to clear wave quickly so they could help at the bottom. A big 3-man attack here. Rending Cleave there missing from Snitch. Will not be doing any damage, and Cloud9 smartly pulls it back for now.
Okay, but they did do a fair amount of damage to that bottom tower, and that's just kind of like a sign of one of the threats they have with Falstad. If they do see an opening, they're going to go for structural damage. Falstad can fly down there or walk down and fly back to his respective lane. But wow, this Tassadar is taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, didn't need to use Dimensional Shift. Flame Strike had already hit him. Now they're going to get a tower. Almost going to get a tower. Will K1 Pro finish it? Yes, he will.
All right, a nice early pickup, but Zeratul has made his way in. We do see a nice dash out, but Uther will end up falling early in this game.
First blood for Team Dignitas with the Gravity Lapse and Flame Strike. Athero is going to port back for now. He's going to rejoin the lane once again. I really like what Cloud9 is doing here, putting such heavy pressure and taking down the tower early. Even though they lost the hero, they're still ahead in XP. Whenever you're facing Abathur on the ladder in Hero League or Quick Match, you want to put a big, heavy 3-man pressure on one of the lanes. Abathur is a very strong late-game hero, a true beast, but he lacks a little bit of presence in the early game, and you want to abuse that.
Yeah, but so far so good for Dignitas. They're staying quite even in XP. They do have that first kill of the game, but will they be able to go toe-to-toe for this first tribute? Look at this nest.
And there we have Oracle coming into play, giving iDream the chance to clear them up with his Whirlwind. Oh, Bakery.
Okay, restarting to start that channel once again. Now that the mine's been cleaned up, of course, there is a bit of a cooldown to be able to place them again. So you can't get a big nest built up like that in a short period of time.
I like what K1 Pro is doing on the fast side at the bottom there, not giving Abathur the advantage of soaking experience. Okay. All by himself.
Yep, Oracle popped in Dream, also just pushing up this lane, realizing that it's going to be a bit of a stalled out fight for the time being. Dwarf Toss for King Caffeine, barely slipping away. The heals are their Dream. Starting to look into the backline, Zarmony quite low or thorough. One to look into the backline, Zarmony quite low or thorough. One Ancient Spear could be his death, but no, a nice gravity lapse going out. Zarmony, though, does get connected on. A lot of Stormbolt connects there as well, and that will be the first kill for Cloud9. Dunk a bit out of position, gonna have to mount up and rejoin his team, but no, it's going to be Fan grabbing the first tribute of the game.
Very nice play by Cloud9, getting the first tribute, 2 away from casting a curse upon their opponent, which will disable all of their minions and forts.
Wow, I mean, even Abathur down here, not able to defend against a Falstad, which is left alone. So we powered through the entire wall, half-level lead for Cloud9, about to have those level 7 talents.
And in an unusual talent choice, Uther, Dunk Train, has gone for the Radiance talent, going for a wider and a further reach of that spell instead of Protective Shield. It's very nice to use on Cursed Hollow, probably the best map for it, as you can cancel the opponent from the tribute from much further and much more safely.
Yeah, it's a really cool pickup. I mean, especially if you have 2 melee on your team, I definitely think there's a lot of viability for that with Double Wars, but Snitch sneaks in and steals the Giants under the nose of Cloud9, just forced to back away.
If you want it that badly, go ahead and take it, says Cloud9. It's pretty easy for them to clear up. Next tribute is going to be spawning in a favorable location for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, and they're really not far behind in XP. This, again, like you said, on their side, just slightly in favor. And they do still have their full fortification in the top lane. So one thing you have to really consider, do you have your well in that situation? At this point in the game, all the wells are still standing. Dignitas will be able to pick it up after a short while. I don't think Fan's going to be able to get the stall here. Just barely not getting in there. The stall here, just barely not getting in there for King Caffeine.
Yeah, the positioning was too good for Dignitas off that tribute. They spawn. The first one is random. The second is a little bit less random, and the third becomes more predictable. There's some kind of pattern which I won't bore you with, but that was a good location for Team Dignitas. And the vileness from Abathur, from ADRD, are really coming into play here, providing a 50% slow for 4 seconds on any intrepid adventurer that stumbles upon them. And that buys a lot of time for Team Dignitas to capture that tribute.
Yeah, in the event you step out of my vision of you, but Zeratul might be lurking in the shadows. And that could just be a disastrous situation.
Very scary. Zeratul even went for Regeneration Master and First Aid, not going with the First Aid, not going with the usual follow-through, sacrificing some damage for much more.
I love the fact that Cloud9 is realizing they're spending Abathur to split soak, and they're abusing that fact. They're just always taking the opportunity to push in these situations. Even having 2 heroes, Sonya and Murden, a lot of damage will go down to this top lane, really putting them in a nice spot for level 10.
Nice dodge there by the Tassadar, dodging that gravity lapse. Yeah, Team Dignitas has been on the warpath. They've been going around as 3 or 4, letting Abathur soak 1 or 2 lanes, and sometimes they get away with it. But I feel like, Jake, Cloud9 has upped their anti-Abathur game, putting a lot of pressure and taking down towers.
I mean, the task is giving you vision of all those mines. It's a situation where you have heroics versus no heroics. Dignitas has no choice but to give up that tribute.
Caffeine getting slowed down on this ascent to the top. Levels are equalizing as ADRD is soaking this lane here. Next tribute will be a curse point for Team Cloud9. However, level 10 will be reached on both sides, so heroics will be up.
Yeah, but looking at the Cloud9 heroics, Force Wall plus Mighty Gust, this is an insane amount of control. These very close, narrow hallways that exist on Cursed Hollow can make some ridiculous plays possible.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the Butcher Falstad play, where you try and keep someone in place and then blowing other people away. A lot of battlefield control, and we'll probably see that coming into play in just 20-30 seconds or so when the next tribute is coming up.
Yeah, but Dignitas, they have Void Prison. It's a great response to those kind of setups. So there's going to be a fine line between the control of the battlefields and who's able to use their heroics most effectively in this situation. Big push going down. Next tribute, not too far off, but it is curse point for Cloud9.
It's the little things that matter. So cool what Fan was doing there. He was taking all of the Phoenix shots, putting a shield on himself, making the Phoenix's goal miss. The Phoenix was cast to clear the middle miss. The Phoenix was cast to clear the middle lane quicker, but all of the shots missed because of Fan's play and understanding of the artificial intelligence of these units. So bought a bit of time there.
Yeah, the Phoenix will always prioritize the heroes over structures or minions. So nice. Wow, we already seeing that talent paying off, stalling out Bakery's channel of that tribute. This, again, is curse point for Cloud9. So they want it, and they want it bad.
Whoa!
Taking way too much. A nice PP to stay alive. Dream gets the Divine Shield and is now turning back in. Mighty Gust putting ADRD into a weird spot, but of course, that is just the Abathur clone, and the tribute is successfully channeled by Dignitas.
Still a little pressure that K1 Pro with Falstad was putting on Zeratul, and I think he's chasing him again in middle lane. That's the end of that. Middle lane. That's the end of that. Forced a Void Prism in a way that you never want to use it in a 1v1 duel. Even though Snitch went for a full survivability build, going for First Aid and Regeneration Master, he still had to use it by himself. And I wonder if that's because of that level 4 talent by K1 Pro, putting more damage on him.
To stay in the battle, I mean, it's just going to hurt more and more with each consecutive charge. So it's a really cool style of Falstad that I'd love to see, you know, just advance in popularity, because so far I'm loving it.
I've been saying that not build is bad. I'm going to take it back. I'm wrong sometimes.
All right, fair enough. Well, Falstad continuing to keep that global soak. Cloud9 very close to level 13. That's why you see they're just continuing to be in the face of Dignitas as often as possible. Falstad, after he clears the wave, always just backs away to make sure he's not really vulnerable to any kind of rotations.
We see Sonya grabbing the Siege Giants. I wonder, Sonya grabbing the Siege Giants. I wonder if she has enough time. She seems to think so. No, he's gonna abandon that. The Tribute is calling anyone that gets this.
Falstad in the bottom lane. Arthas right now. He is in a bit of a change situation. Keeping him alive, so he spent that ability, spent his fly. He will not be present for this next Tribute, but Cloud9 is already in position. They'll get a curse. Dignitas trading out for a boss.
Yeah, curse has been cast. The blue team will be cursed. None of their forts will have any defensive capabilities whatsoever. Their minions are going to die in just a single hit.
And Cloud9, they're working on a boss themselves, but Dignitas, I believe they'll be able to get there in time to try to fight this back. They do have that boss push in the bottom, but they're waiting too long. They're waiting too long.
Yeah, this boss has been taken. It's a boss apiece with the curse in favor of Cloud9. They're now going to start to push to the top there. If they can take down this fort before the boss even gets there, the boss will go all the way to the keep by himself, and that gives Cloud9 a chance to attack a different location. They're already starting to work on that with 3 heroes in the middle.
Yeah, just note the way that they're splitting up their heroes too. Falstad and Muradin, the two most mobile, 2 heroes that have the best escape on their team. They're putting them up alone in the top lane while the rest of the team is pushing down that middle fort. They really want to make sure they take out as many structures as humanly possible during this curse.
Now, we've seen curses where only 0 forts get taken down, or 1, sometimes all 3, and getting 2 is definitely on the higher end of the scale. Getting that middle fort now, probably not the bottom, and that's thanks to the boss. Too much.
Finally, a good curse there for Cloud9. They got the 2 forts. They defended a boss, just losing the single fort here in the bottom. Yeah, the final punch does take it out, but Dignitas, they are far from out of this, only down 1 level right now.
Right, and they still have that late game hero Abathur. We haven't seen a lot of Kael'thas level 13 power spike coming in yet, where he picks up that chain bomb, and at that moment it's going to be a lot harder for Cloud9 to position themselves, as every living torch of a hero can pass that chain bomb to their allies and spreading around massive amounts of damage. So we see the power spikes hitting here for Team Dignitas, but momentum and playstyle has still been favoring Cloud9 until this moment.
Yeah, so far so good. Falstad once again getting a bit aggressive as he gets eyes on the opposing team in the mid lane. If they slip into the shadows, he'll be a little bit more passive. But once the team reconfirms they're in the middle, he's happy to do that damage to the final remaining fort.
Just 1 little inch away from level 16. Let's see the talent picks there for Cloud9. It's going to give them a huge power spike.
This is arguably the 2nd strongest talents you can get, next to, of course, your heroics and then your level 20 storm talents. And this momentum that they can have at level 16 with a full, level window, they can make a lot happen, but doesn't look like they want to do anything other than eliminate that last fort.
Yeah, they want to use that with the fort. They'll be happy if there is a measure of defense by Dignitas. They'll happily take that fight, but at least they're going to get that fort. We see the hammer throw, the hammer time talent by Falstad. He will have a 0.75 second stun if he hits someone after using his power throw ability.
But Dignitas, they're all going back to base. Harthing with the pressure there in the bottom lane on that bottom keep. Cloud9 will successfully take out the wall and just calmly back away. A nice play by Cloud9.
We see none of the wacky play by Cloud9 that they showed in the BlizzCon opening week just 1 week ago, where they continually made it scary for themselves.
Falstad is flying up here to the top. Athuro taking a lot of damage from Caffeine, but no, they opt to back away. The Abathur had the mines in that area. They realize a bit of a risk, and Caffeine, engaged upon by Snitch, does manage to dwarf toss away.
Uther still at the bottom lane, Dunk Train getting as much experience as possible there. At this point, we're starting to see this as a race to level 20. Whoever gets there first gets some of the most powerful abilities in Storm tier talents.
A nice force wall, but now we see Fan all alone right now. The team is
Dunk Train.
Falstad cannot fly down here. This is a 3v5, and Cloud9 is just running.
Dunk Train seems to be able to get away. He dodged that Howling Blast very nicely. And Fan with the force wall disengaged.
The fact that they chased meant they weren't channeling the tribute. That would be a curse for Dignitas if they managed to pick it up. But Cloud9 has been able to recuperate, get back into position. Falstad flew to the left side, looking for after moves, uses that clone at the last moment.
Nice move by King Caffeine, coming from the back there with the Stormbolt. They're really chaining their abilities together nicely. Oh, Divine Shield has been used.
Taking a fair amount of damage, secluded from his team. They need to make something happen. After clone about to wear off, and Tassadar is getting pushed to the left side.
Oh, Tassadar, he's singled out, he's isolated.
But this means that there's 2 heroes for Dignitas not in this fight. Gonna be hard to stall this out. Tassadar taking a lot of damage himself on the left side, but it's still buying a lot of time with Snitch and Abathur occupied.
Oh, and it looks like it will actually be Cloud9 who picks up the tribute.
They deny the curse for Dignitas. They might end up defending Tassadar. Does he have Force Wall? Tassadar, does he have Force Wall? Yes, he does. And he manages to slip away.
With the Prussians getting away. In the den of the lion, Jake.
Piecing him for so long, it was all about stall tactics. We saw that exact type of play versus DK, but their whole composition was designed around that. Why not just try one hero to force two heroes to focus on eliminating you? Tassadar is the best hero in the game at doing that.
Incredible. What a troll fan. Such mastery of this hero as he goes deep behind enemy lines and sees his way out and capturing the tribute in the process for his team. A true MVP moment there.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, next level plays being made here at the World Championships. Snitch has to blink out of there after putting himself in a bit of a forward position there, but no one ends up going down in that exchange.
And as the dust clears from that capture of the tribute, a lot of yellow spots are starting to appear on the maps. There are mercaps that are available for capture. iDream has started with the Siege Shine. It's starting to get the Bruiser, and we'll see a Bruiser apiece for Dignitas as well.
I mean, they're really just starting to grab those mercenaries, trying to get that pressure across the battleground for this tribute, which is spawning in just 5 seconds. Again, this is curse point for Dignitas, and they desperately need to pick up a curse to catch up an experience for level 20.
Snitch has been stunned out of the ability to use Wormhole there. No follow-up threat just yet as everything starts to break loose.
Bakery was so close, Fan slips away himself. Again, very low prescience has been used, so now Tassadar is quite vulnerable. And Zeratul will pick 4v5, and Cloud9 has no choice but to give up this tribute, and that will be a curse for Team Dignitas.
The first curse for Team Dignitas. They're starting to ride the momentum here of being in a 5 versus 4 situation. Zarmany out for blood, trying to chase iDream there. Note that none of the defensive structures will be attacking. Zarmany now isolated. Tanky enough probably to be able to shrug this off until help comes. Army of the Dead.
Well, yeah, but Bakery's there. He has Divine Palm if needed, and they don't have eyes on the rest of the team, so they're being a little bit passive. But what they're doing is making sure that Team Dignitas can't go for a boss right now. That's exactly what Cloud9 wants to stop. Any kind of momentum train by picking up two bosses with a curse is the last thing they want to have happen. Beautiful Mighty Gus, just forcing them off of that fort, stalling even longer.
Exactly, that's what Cloud9 is. If they can survive this curse without losing a keep or giving away a boss, that would be a huge success for Cloud9, despite giving away the curse.
Yeah, but they did give away their experience late. Dignitas just passing them in this moment right now, and Dig is marching into these middle forts, middle towers, taking them out, which will put them so very close to level 20.
Ah, there it is, level 20. Storm tier talents are being picked. We've got the Hardened Shields going out for Arthas, Rewind for Zeratul. We've got the Hive Mind for Abathur, which gives him 2 symbiote hats, and finally Calm Repose for Kharazim, which gives him a attempt at doing Divine Palm every 5 seconds.
You can just spam it.
Yeah.
All right, well, Cloud9 very close to 20 themselves, going to grab their Storm Talents. This means it is not safe for either team to go for a risky boss. Once again, Abathur Mind's really providing so much vision. Fanro's actually just clearing them out.
K1 Pro. K1 Pro, he's alone.
Oh, Tassadar, or excuse me, Zeratul flies in. A nice Mighty Gus going out, buying time. And Dream Caffeine, they're flanking from the bottom, looking for a lot of damage. They find a Pharaoh in the back line. Force Ball going off the bottom. Phantom is actually infected by the most, but ADRD, the clone, will end up going down very soon here. So that's just the after clone gone. Now he will switch to using his hat for his allies. Cloud9 realize they do have a heroic advantage.
Cloud9 in hot pursuit. Toxic Nest slowing their pursuit here as we have an attempted disengage from Team Dignitas, who are nonetheless hesitant to give away the stage to Cloud9, as a boss will be the grand prize.
Force Wall secludes Zarmany, and a lot of damage is being thrown out onto him, but of course Divine Palm is still a big factor in this fight. Zeratul blinks at the ball, the immediate stun onto Snitch, but no, it's going to be Caffeine getting very low. Mighty Gus does save him, and Snitch will end up falling in this fight. Now Caffeine getting that additional heal with the trade. Fawcett flying into battle, the slow from the...
Oh, the Force Wall!
Force Wall goes down, and Key Caffeine in the back will manage to get out just barely. Divine Shield is cast on Sonya, and he shreds through Uther, but no, it's Bakery, the one that's still standing for the supports. Healing up the team isn't enough. The shield's coming up, the Ghost of Uther keeping the team alive. The exchange is just too close.
Wow, Snitch dead there in the aftermath. Uther has perished as well, but should he not be coming back? He has redemption. He's not coming back.
Yeah, No redemption going off there.
Maybe he picked it too late, or it was down. I do apologize, not understanding what happened there. But it's one down apiece. No bosses were taken. I thought Dignitas was in for a disaster of their lifetime here, Jake. But it is just a 1-for-1. They defended the boss successfully and are now starting to make a move for their own boss. But Fan says, no, thank you. I'm going to delay you from that. With the Force Wall, the Oracle is going to mount up and try and stay near and prevent that from happening. Snitch is back. Dunk Train is still 10 seconds out.
Dunk Train's parents really tense in this moment. You can see them watching from the crowd, realizing how epic this game truly is. How epic this game truly is. One tribute to Zero in favor of Cloud9 fan continuing to stall. But if Dignitas, I mean, they have to go back up from 0. They're at 0 to 3, so they need 3 more tributes before they have another curse. So really giving that up, not a big deal.
Right. Dunk Train wasn't there yet, so no risky plays could be made. Now they're a team again, and it feels good, man. It's a 5 versus 5 again. Once again, iDream going on the camp.
Oh,
Fan taking lots of damage.
Way too much damage there. Needs to back away. Team has to regroup and look for a fight. 21 to 21, dead even, and we are just about 21 minutes.
Coincidence. 3 keeps apiece still. This is the grand finals match that we have been hoping for. It is very tense here. We don't have an overabundance of kills, just 3 versus 2 takedowns thus far. But that just goes to show how evenly matched these two teams are, even as Cloud9 has a 1-0 lead.
It's like looking at a mirror. At the same moment, they both start working on their bosses respectively. Dead even right now. I mean, the topless level play, we couldn't ask for a greater grand finals.
Very much so, and they captured at the exact same time. And what are they gonna do? More camps, defend the boss, push with it. There are so many options that I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. For now, it looks like both teams will play it safe. There's too much at stake. Grand Champion will win $200,000 and the title to call themselves the world's first best Heroes of the Storm team ever.
Okay, the next tribute has spawned, this time a bit in favor of Team Dignitas. So defending in the top, Abathur actually going up forward. ADRD will be able to channel that safely as Cloud9 is in fact back at home, taking care of that boss. Fallside flying in, just in time. ADRD does just barely get away. Mighty Gus, not quite enough. The beautiful evolution there, keeping him alive for the moment.
Oh my God, what just happened there?
Now, when the clone dies, Abathur will return to that exact spot. They're pinging it right now, right next to the tribute. They're pinging it right now, right next to the tribute. So Cloud9, they want to maintain a forward position. Force Wall is thrown out. This is a tense moment for both teams. The clone is getting low, blinking away, back in, it's down. Abathur does end up falling in this battle very quickly. Zarmany in the front line, a bit secluded. The damage from Sonya is so high, but the Army of the Dead Hardened Shield is keeping up, and Void Prison locking down 3 members. Mighty Gust still not ready for 3 seconds. They need that for the next play. If they can seclude them down into this little hole, no, they force fall step back.
Zarmany goes down! It's a 2-0 kill here for Cloud9 as they're pursued. They're out for blood. We don't have Arcane Barrier anymore. We don't have Bolt of the Storm on the Thera Angel. They're waiting out the Divine Bomb!
It went off and a Thera falls down, and Kerosene is incredibly low himself. Bakery just trying to slip back into his base, but I don't know if it matters. 3 heroes down to the 5 of Cloud9. It looks like they're going to try to end it here.
Is this the moment where 2 stood against 5 and stood victorious, or is it what it looks like that Cloud9 will get the core? They are banging on that core. They want it down.
All right, Cloud9, they're knocking on the door, but they're not getting over-aggressive. They realize they want to make sure they don't lose here. Bakery throws Divine Palm, will go off, but can he survive another onslaught from these 5? The core dropping down to 70% of its health. To iDream popping that Hardened Shield. I think they have done it, Grubby. Cloud9 will go up 2-0 in this best of 5 grand finals at the Heroes of the Storm World Championship. What a game 2. Cloud9 sitting 1 game away from claiming that title, claiming that trophy with impeccable play, full set in both games. I don't know what else to say.
Relief on the face of Mrs. Arabian as her son is just 1 map away from taking a 3-0 victory here with his team Cloud9, the American hopefuls. And this is just, it's an amazing finals. I'm out of words.
That's okay. I'll take care of you guys right here.
Thanks, Scooby.
All right, so a couple things to really point out. We looked at this draft initially when we saw it, and Jake, you didn't give me a chance to answer who I thought was going to win.
Calling me out.
But honestly, I would have told you Dignitas. They got all of their picks. You take a look at the 3 heroes that they feel so comfortable on: Abathur, Karazim, and Kael'thas. They got all 3 of them. Now, they did do a little bit of swapping around who was playing what hero. Athera was actually on the Kael'thas, which is a little bit different for the team. So perhaps that had a bit of a factor into it, but really, it was about the Falstad play, right? We saw it in the last game, not even using any kind of Butcher combination with this, but really just showing the mobility. So the big deal that I want to highlight for our Windows 10 game DVR replay is this K1 Pro Falstad style play. This is actually one of the more interesting fights that we see